expecting and cold. Let's get back to meteorologist Anthony Baglione of the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking it all for us.
Well, guys, this cold is going to set the stage for our system coming in tomorrow. It's kind of out ahead of what comes in for our Friday afternoon and evening. Let's talk about, though, the latest for us. So this is a winter storm watch that the National Weather Service issued earlier this morning. What that is saying is within the next 24 to 48 hours, they're kind of just trying to spread the word. We could see winter storm conditions across the area. Ice potentially up to about 0.2 of an inch there for many of our locations south of the triangle. And then for the areas north of the triangle, about a dusting to 3 inches of snow and sleet, kind of that combination. Any widespread sleet totals would definitely cut down on those snow totals. But what I would say is it's still just going to be messy across everywhere, really. Here's a look at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We start off quiet. The morning commute looks pretty good. We start to see some clouds coming in, and then there is the system back to our west. It brings a little bit of rain to start, maybe a bit of a wintry mix. I think that this model is kind of missing out on at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Our temperatures would be supportive at that point of some winter weather. We get to about 9 o'clock. So I would say from 8 o'clock or so onward, if you are out and about, or if you can stay home, I would recommend the second option. But if you're out and about, be very careful on those roads, especially from the triangle to the north. We're going to be talking about snow at that point. Potential is there for some freezing rain in those pink areas. Goldsboro, for instance, right on that transition line of some rain, freezing rain. It switches over there. There's 2 o'clock into Saturday morning. We're going to start to see this push on out of here, but Saturday morning roads could also be very slick, and then potentially into Sunday morning, despite not having anything more coming down, our road temperatures are still going to be pretty cold. Snow-wise, about 1 inch to 3 from the triangle up to the north, generally less than 1 inch there from the triangle to the south. Those totals could still fluctuate. We're still getting kind of a better handle on that, but I would say generally speaking about 1 to 3 for most of our locations from the triangle to the north. Icing is also going to be a significant issue for us. Anytime we see freezing rain, that causes issues, but from the triangle area southward, up to about a 1/4 of an inch or so, and then up to the north, those snow and sleet totals would cut down on any significant icing that we'd see. Just be careful out there on the roads. It's going to be kind of messy. 20 degrees is what it currently feels like in Raleigh, 18 degrees in Fayetteville. It is going to be a chilly forecast as we go through the majority of today. Just be careful again out there on those roads, Chris.
Yeah, and Anthony, I tell you what, another big story that we're following today here in the WRAL Traffic Center. You'll see right here, we have it appears to be a crash of some sort on I-440 and Lake Boone Trail. You'll notice there is an ambulance on scene there. In fact, we also saw a fire truck that was blocking the road. This is the westbound side. Now, if you're talking about specifically where this is on a map, we do have that for you here. Let's go ahead and zoom in just a bit so I can show you. Our sensors essentially kind of show exactly what it looks like. You see that reddish color right here? That's indicating that we've got that backup in traffic. Keep that in mind. But in terms of when that's going to clear up, we'll be watching very closely and to figure out what caused that crash specifically. So this is why it's a good idea that if you're headed out, to make sure that you have us on the radio at 99.3 FM in Raleigh, 96.5 FM in Durham, and 101.5 FM HD. We are going to make sure to keep you updated all morning long.
Chris, thanks. And as you prepare for the winter weather, you may see city, county, and state DOT crews out on the roads today preparing as well. The roads are being brined ahead of the wintry mix coming our way. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey reports on the efforts being done to keep you safe.
Several of the trucks that are here inside this NCDOT parking lot are headed out on the roadways today. The state has plans to start brining interstates later today. Let's take you to video now of the first truck leaving the lot this morning. Trucks from the town of Cary put down brine yesterday. Cary crews will cover 700 miles by the time they're finished. They prepped main roads and neighborhoods around town with trash routes as their #1 priority.
We brine at 40 gallons per mile. With that, we've got a 24/7 operation.
This is an all-hands-on-deck effort between cities, counties, and NCDOT to prepare for this winter weather. We did check in with the city of Raleigh, and they say they plan to send out their trucks as well later today. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Speaking of that winter weather, we're going to get right to meteorologist Anthony Baglione, the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking who is going to see what and when.
It's going to be an impactful system, Ken, unfortunately, for a lot of people. And so what I want to do here is start with the wider view across the country, because just watching some of the observations there across northern Texas, places like Dallas, for instance, talking about a wintry mix at this point, lots of heavy snow there north of Dallas, and you can see a cold front back to the west right there. We still have high pressure in control, though. That's going to keep our weather very calm for today. That will get pushed out, though, as we head through tomorrow. Look at some of these snow totals, though. We put on the what we call the European model, usually pretty pretty accurate, I would say. It takes up to potentially 7 inches of snow there north of Dallas. You can see that swath, though, even for Nashville, about 3 to 4. It does bring several inches, though, across our viewing area, which we're going to talk about that more kind of a zoomed-in view to get a better idea of what we're expecting. But I would say generally from about the triangle to the north, we could see up to about 1 to 3 inches. That is what the Weather Service also is outlining there in their winter storm watch. That came out this morning, and you can see the wording with that. Mixed precipitation is what they are calling it. That could be freezing rain, could be some sleet, could be just plain old rain, kind of all mixing together and causing some issues there. Excuse me, Friday night into Saturday morning. Looking at about a dusting, though, to 3 inches of some snow from the triangle to the north and then lesser amounts to the south. Let's time this out, though. I know the timing is, of course, the key player. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, we are still dry. We're still quiet. We see cloud cover building in, and then through the afternoon into the evening, I would say by about 5 o'clock, if you can head home, get a good movie, just hang inside, because watch what happens. We get to 8, 9 o'clock or so, and then that snow line starts to come in just south of Raleigh, and then our southern counties outlined in that wintry mix potential where roads certainly could be slick. We get to 2 a.m. Saturday morning, very similar story, only you notice there's kind of more of a mix right there, rain down to the south and east, and then this should all be pushing out by the time we get to about 7 a.m. Saturday morning. But then as we go through our Saturday, we're still looking at that icing potential Saturday morning. And then if it refreezes Saturday night into Sunday morning, we could be also seeing some issues on the roads. Here is how the snowfall potential looks, though, from about Raleigh to the north, 1 to 3 inches, and then less than that for our southern counties. That is certainly enough to cause some issues. And then we look at the freezing rain potential on top of that, generally about 1/4 of an inch or so south of the triangle, and then lesser amounts from Raleigh up to the north. What we are looking at, though, out there this morning, temperatures are chilly. We did have what we call a cold weather advisory. That has since expired. It feels, though, like 20 in Raleigh. Clinton is also at 20. 19 is what it currently feels like in Rocky Mount. Our temperatures are going to feel cold as we go through the majority of today. So if you're out and about, just have that winter coat. Here's a look at those wind chill values down to about 24 at noon, 27 by the time we get closer to 2 o'clock this afternoon. Here's how the next 7 days shapes up, though. We go to 37 today, 38 tomorrow. Weather alert days for both our Friday and Saturday. Next week, though, guys, after this impactful system, thankfully, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we go to Wednesday. All of those look like a lot of sunshine. It will still be chilly, though, with temps in the upper 40s.